Wednesday, October 26th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with a look at the latest local headlines today, including Connecticut fugitives caught asleep at the wheel, a dramatic dog rescue in Easton, and a lot more. Kevin Coleman joins us for a Nutmeg sports update. Donald Lang will take a look back on this day in history later on, and we also have a look at the forecast for you. But first, this morning, Metro North service on the New Haven line is delayed after a truck hit the Beardsley Avenue overpass in Milford. The Milford Mirror reports that police and other responders were at the Beardsley Avenue overpass early this morning. A police officer at the scene said that a garbage truck had gotten stuck under the bridge. A local businessman standing outside his office said this is a fairly common occurrence at that location. Metro North officials said there were 15 to 20-minute delays because of that police activity, but we'll bring you updates as they become available. You can also check milfordmirror.com. And in other news, a silver alert has been issued for a missing 11-year-old boy who is considered by police to be an endangered runaway. Fraylin Nunez is 5 foot 2 inches tall and weighs 100 pounds. He was last seen wearing a red and black Michael Jordan hat, a blue and black shirt, green camo pants, and blue and black sneakers. He has been missing from his Danbury home since Monday. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call police at 203-797-4611. And 2 Connecticut fugitives wanted for bank robbery were captured in Putnam County in the town of Southeast yesterday. The pair was apprehended after they were found sleeping in a stolen car parked near a reservoir. Vance A. Coffin and Vincent T. Rollins, both aged 50 and having last known addresses in Norwich, Connecticut, are facing local stolen property counts in addition to Connecticut bank robbery charges, that according to New York officials. Their arrests unfolded after Connecticut State Police notified the Putnam Sheriff's Office yesterday morning that the men were wanted for an alleged September 23rd bank robbery that happened in Canterbury, and that they were believed to be somewhere in the area of Brewster, New York. Connecticut authorities provided a description of the fugitives and said that they should be considered armed and dangerous. The sheriff's office dispatched about a dozen investigators and plainclothes deputy sheriffs to scour Brewster and Southeast areas for the suspects. At about 12:45 in the afternoon, investigators spotted the fugitives in a 2010 Toyota Corolla parked off the side of Old Milltown Road in Southeast. The 2 men were asleep as investigators and deputies closed in upon the car and took them into custody without incident. Upon further investigation, it was determined that the car in which they were found had been reported stolen from Colchester, Connecticut on October 17th. In addition, a North Carolina license plate displayed on the car belonged on another vehicle, and that plate had been reported stolen from Newtown, North Carolina on about October 21st. And Monroe volunteer firefighters were called to a Moose Hill Road residence Saturday evening after an alarm company reported an activated carbon monoxide alarm. The residents were not home at the time, but upon arrival, firefighters noted an odor from an oil furnace malfunction. Firefighters detected carbon monoxide levels of 450 parts per million, which is a level that can cause severe illness after 1 to 2 hours of exposure. Carbon monoxide is an invisible, colorless, and odorless gas generated when fossil fuels burn incompletely. Common causes in households can be oil or gas heating equipment, as well as gas appliances or blocked chimney fumes. Carbon monoxide mixes with the bloodstream and impedes the blood's ability to carry oxygen to vital organs. It can cause nausea, headaches, dizziness, and difficulty breathing. Firefighters from Monroe and Stepney departments shut off the furnace and ventilated the home for over an hour. It was later determined that the oil burner experienced an internal failure. And police in Milford are investigating the death of an 18-month-old baby. WFSB reports that officers, EMS, and firefighters were called to a home on Milford Point Road on Tuesday morning. And upon arrival, the unidentified toddler was in cardiac arrest and had an extremely high fever. That toddler was rushed to Bridgeport Hospital, where police say the child died. Police said the toddler's death does not seem suspicious. An autopsy was scheduled for this morning. And in other news, Easton neighbors have quite a tale to tell after a dog had to be rescued from a muddy feeding stream. Check out the dramatic rescue video. A neighbor's dogs, Rocky and Bullwinkle, figured out how to get out of their electric fence and go for a little stroll around a neighbor's pond in the morning of October 14th. However, as they were crossing a feeding stream, now just a muddy stretch due to lack of rain, they began to sink into it. They tried to turn around, but the more they struggled to get out, the more they sank. Rocky and Bullwinkle began to bark for help. Their owner came out to investigate and found them sinking. He was able to pull out Rocky, which was a little dog, but Bullwinkle, who you're seeing in this video getting rescued, is a large Newfoundland. He was going to require some more help. Easton emergency crews arrive, and you can see what happened. Bullwinkle was pulled out safely. He was unharmed, and our own Doug Smith even made a little cartoon after the entire adventure. There is, however, much more on that story and more of that video at eastoncourier.com. But let's switch gears now and take a look at the forecast. It is cold today, but it's going to be mostly sunny, high of 50 degrees and a low of 34 tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to be rainy and cold, but we need the rain. You might see some snowflakes in parts of southwestern Connecticut. There is a high of 50 degrees and the low will be in the 40s. Friday, still cold, but no more rain, high of 52 and a low of 39 degrees. Saturday, things warm up a bit. It's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 61 degrees. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, Donald Ang takes a look back on this day in history. Kevin Coleman has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have some more local news after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Hi, this is Leo Carl from Carl Chevrolet in New Canaan. And you've heard me talk about the Chevy Volt for years. The new model gets 53 miles on EV charge daily, plus 420-mile full range. But don't take my word for it. You need to come in and test drive the Volt yourself. Visit us at 261 Elm Street in New Canaan or online at carldirect.com.
As you're getting back to your regular schedules, we're excited to get back to doing what we do best, offering you the freshest seasonal fare and all the grapes. Stock Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com. At Whip Blow Dry Bar and Salon of Ridgefield, it's all about creating a hassle-free, high-end experience for the entire family. Open 7 days a week, the makeup and hairstyle salon on Governor Street has it all. From color services, men's haircuts with a complimentary microbrew, affordable kids cuts, and more. And our blowout package includes a shampoo, scalp massage, blowout of your choice, and a lipstick application done by a celebrity makeup artist. Download the Whip Salon app to view the styles and book appointments. Get more information at whipsalon.com, 203-442-6444, or find Whip on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network. And we've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this October 26th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history, or Hanstry as we like to call it, with our own Donald Ang. Don, what do you have for us today?
Well, we have a lot of things today. Kind of heavy on the western part of the country. But first we go to 1825. The Erie Canal opens, connecting Albany, New York to Lake Erie. Transporting goods by water was much cheaper than having it drawn by a horse-drawn wagon. There were no railroads at the time. Transportation costs for moving goods between the Atlantic Ocean and the Great Lakes fell by 95% following the opening of the Erie Canal. Speaking of transporting goods, 1861 we go for the final run of the Pony Express. Though it only lasted about 19 months, it became an integral part of Western lore. The Express carried mail from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California by horseback in about 10 days, using a network of 80 riders and about 400 horses. Now the name is a bit misleading, as the hardy Western Mustangs purchased for the Express averaged about 4 foot 10 inches at the shoulders, about 900 pounds total, right on the border between what is a small horse or a large pony. The only real difference between a horse and a pony is size. Staying in the West and with Western folklore, on this date in 1881, we had the gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona. Well, it was actually down the street from the OK Corral, but never mind. The shootout was not really well known until a 1931 account of it was published based on Wyatt Earp's recollections. Virgil, Morgan, and Wyatt Earp and their friend Doc Holliday killed 3 cowboys of the Clanton and McClory outfit. The shootout was not the end of the feud, though, as Virgil Earp would be attacked and maimed 2 months later. Morgan Earp would be shot and killed the following year. Virtually all of the supporting facts about the events leading up to the shootout are still disputed. Finally, now we go to 2001, 15 years ago, for this.
Good morning and welcome to the White House. Today we take an essential step in defeating terrorism while protecting the constitutional rights of all Americans. With my signature, this law will give intelligence and law enforcement officials important new tools to fight a present danger.
Okay, responding to a present danger, I suppose it wouldn't make much sense to legislate based on a non-present danger. But anyway, on this date in 2001, the U.S. passes the USA Patriot Act into law. The act was quite controversial among civil libertarians due to the broad powers it gave law enforcement to conduct surveillance and warrantless searches. But it did pass the Senate 99-1. With Ron Paul casting the lone no vote. Whatever you think of his convictions, he stands by him. The law has been renewed and amended several times. Most of the controversial aspects have been removed or allowed to sunset. That's your look back in history for today, October 26th, and I'm Donald Ng.
Thanks so much, Don. Well, in other news today, the Associated Press reports that a Muslim businessman and his wife are suing a Connecticut yacht club on allegations that club board members rejected their membership application because of their religion and falsely claimed they supported terrorism. Cameron Fareed, a co-founder of the fruit bouquet business Edible Arrangements, and his wife Kara sued the Pine Orchard Yacht and Country Club in Branford in state superior court in August, alleging discrimination, racism, and bigotry. They're seeking a court order for the club to stop discriminating, undisclosed damages, and a suspension of the club's permit to sell alcohol. The club's lawyer has denied the allegations, but Fareed, who's 38 years old and an American citizen and moved to Connecticut from his native Pakistan back in 1980, said he, his wife, and their children became provisional members of the club back in July 2013. The club, which was a short drive from their shoreline home in Branford, converted provisional membership into regular members after 2 years. But in July of last year, Fareed said he received a letter from the club saying his membership was ending and he was no longer allowed on the property. He said that no reason was given. But let's switch gears again and throw it over to Kevin Coleman for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Kevin, soccer game last night?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks, Kate. Last night was the final day of the regular season for girls soccer here in the FCIAC, and we'll run through the scores quickly. It was Darien and Central. Darien beat them 4-0. Richfield blanked Trinity 6-0, and Wilton blanked New Canaan 2-0. It was Danbury beating Ludlow by a final score of 1-0. McMahon and Greenwich ended in a 3-3 draw. And St. Joe's and Norwalk ended in 6-1 in favor of the Cadets. And finally, in the girls' game of the week, it was Staples and Ward ending in a 1-1 draw. And here are the highlights from last night. On the HAN Network, it's Fairfield Ward and Staples here at Tetro Davis Field at Fairfield Ward High School. Records trying to play it through ball. Beautiful play. Big opportunity for the Records, and it's in! It's a goal for the Records early on, 1-0. It's Caitlin Laligio, number 8. Coming all the way down to the 18. A shot on goal, but a great save. Oh, the ball is loose. And the Mustangs will clear this one away. Great save by Christensen. And they get it. Big opportunity for the Mustangs. Still loose. Open play. Walsh. She scores it. This game is tied.
Oh, Tangney set that baby up. Beautiful.
Final 5 seconds to go. This game will end in a tie as the Mustangs and the Rutgers. This game is over, but credit the Mustangs as they tie, and they are into the playoffs. And congratulations to Ward and Staples on making it to the playoffs. Finally, switching over to the boys' side, we have the soccer quarterfinals tomorrow starting off. Tomorrow, Thursday, number 6, Ludlow heads to number 3, Danbury at 3:30. That game will be on here on the HAN network. And wrapping things up on the Thursday side is number 5, Ward, heading to number 4, Darien. That game will be at 3:30. For the Friday matchup, it'll be number 8, Staples, heading to number 1, Greenwich. That game will be at 3:30. And finally, it'll be number 7, Stamford, heading to number 2, Trumbull, in a rematch of Tuesday's Classic. That game will be at 4 o'clock. Tune in for Nutmeg Sports at 2 p.m. with myself and Donald Eng. We'll discuss the boys soccer playoff matchups, and that start Thursday night and Friday. And we'll also discuss field hockey and volleyball, wrapping up their regular season today. That'll do it for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Well, officials in Ridgefield say if you get a phone call asking if you would donate to your local fire department, just hang up. They say the fire department does not call for money, and you should get a letter from the fire department, which is in an envelope that is genuine. They say it's the same with the police department, and if you receive any of those phone calls, to just hang up. They are scams, so something to look out for. And in other news, developer Andy Glazer spoke to the New Canaan Advertiser recently about his plans for the Roger Sherman Inn property project next spring. On October 25th, he had the first of what could be several public meetings with New Canaan Planning and Zoning seeking a permit that would allow him to build 7 houses on the 1.7-acre property in a 1-acre zone. He went through similar processes for the Maples Inn in New Canaan and Silver Mine in Norwalk, both successfully. His Roger Sherman vision of building 7 houses there meshes with what he feels New Canaan needs. He said there's a huge demand for this type of housing, quality empty nester housing. He said, I think what I'm doing, as I've done in the past, is fulfilling a demand for housing that people need. There is a lot more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. And in other news, just getting to it. In other news, Darien business owner Nicholas Trolio addressed the crowd at the most recent Turning Wine into Water charity event by first speaking about the local watering ban. Darien residents have to shut off their air conditioners for a bit, hold off the watering of their lawns, and forego other conveniences in the face of a drought. Trolio then spoke about the goal of the event and the work that's already started in Ethiopia. He founded Turning Wine into Water back in 2005. He and his 2 sons and business partners, Robert and Peter, began contributing a portion of wine sales from special events and Wine of the Month memberships to the construction of clean water wells in Zambia. The well now provides safe, clean, fresh water to more than 250 people in Zambia. But you can read a lot more on that organization at DarienTimes.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories that we're following today on your coffee break after this.
This is now 44 years I've been in this business. Digital came along. After I was in business for about 6 years, I had to totally reinvent the business. So I had to make a tremendous investment in my business. And Milford Bank was there for me. I don't really just consider Milford Bank a bank. I consider them a trusted partner in my business. My name is Jim Wilson, owner of Milford Photo. I choose to bank with Milford Bank.
The leaves are changing, water temps dropping, and the sun is setting a little earlier each day. But there's still a lot of great boating, fishing, and coast time left before we see the first snow. And above all, remember, it's always summer at the Dock Shop. With loads of new fishing tackle and accessories, clothing, jewelry, and home decor, the Dock Shop is just what you need when you start to feel that New England autumn chill. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
I'm a filthy rich executive. I hear the market's down 1,000,000 points. I freak out. I spill my large espresso. The searing pain makes me slam on the brakes. Uh-oh, your fault. And your cut rate insurance may not cover my $90,000 car, so I sue you, because that's what I do. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Visit your local Allstate agent, Nick Montanero, at 6528 Main Street in Trumbull for a personalized quote.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ng for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
We're back on this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories in the area, including that this morning, Metro North service on the New Haven line was delayed after a truck hit the Beardsley Avenue overpass in Milford. The Milford Mirror reports that police and other responders were at the scene of that overpass early this morning. A police officer at the scene said that a garbage truck had gotten stuck under the bridge. A local businessman standing outside his office said it's a fairly common occurrence at that location. Metro North said there were 15 to 20-minute delays because of that police activity, but you can follow updates at milfordmirror.com. And a silver alert has been issued for a missing 11-year-old boy who is considered by police to be an endangered runaway. Fraylin Nunez, who is 5 foot 2 inches tall and weighs 100 pounds, was last seen wearing a red and black Michael Jordan hat, a blue and black shirt, green camo pants, and blue and black sneakers. He has been missing from his Danbury home since Monday, and anyone with information is asked to contact police at 203-797-4611. And 2 Connecticut fugitives wanted for bank robbery were captured in Putnam County, New York yesterday. The pair was apprehended after they were found sleeping in a stolen parked car near a reservoir. Vance Coffin and Vincent Rollins, both age 50 and having last known addresses in Norwich, Connecticut, are facing New York stolen property counts in addition to Connecticut bank robbery charges. Their arrests unfolded after the Connecticut State Police notified the Putnam Sheriff's Office yesterday morning that the men were wanted for an alleged September 23rd bank robbery in Canterbury, Connecticut, and that they were believed to be in the area of Brewster, New York. Connecticut authorities provided a description of the fugitives and said that they should be considered armed and dangerous. The sheriff's office dispatched about a dozen investigators and plainclothes deputy sheriffs to scour Brewster and Southeast for the suspects. At about 12:45 in the afternoon, investigators spotted the fugitives in a 2010 Toyota Corolla in Southeast near the East Branch Reservoir. The 2 men were asleep as investigators and deputies closed in upon the car, and they took them into custody without resistance. Upon further investigation, it was determined that the car in which the suspects were found had been reported stolen from Colchester, Connecticut on October 17th. And in addition, a North Carolina license plate displayed on the car belonged to another vehicle, and that plate had been reported stolen from Newton, North Carolina on about October 21st. And Easton neighbors have quite a tale to tell about a dog that had to be rescued from a muddy feeding stream. Check out this dramatic rescue video. A neighbor's dogs, Rocky and Bullwinkle, figured out how to get out of their electric fence, and they were near a pond in the early morning of October 14th. As they were crossing a feeding stream, which is now just a muddy stretch due to lack of rain, they began to sink into it. They tried to turn around, but the more they struggled, the more they sank. They began to bark for help, and their owner came out to investigate and found them sinking in the mud. He was able to pull out Rocky, which was a little dog, and Bullwinkle, who you see in this video, a large Newfoundland, was going to require more help. Easton emergency rescue crews arrived to check out what happened, and as you can see, they were able to pull Bullwinkle to safety. He was unharmed, and our own cartoonist Doug Smith even made a little cartoon related to the entire incident. But there's much more on that story and more video at eastoncourier.com. And finally, why did the deer cross the Connecticut River? To get to the other side. Check out this video. Connecticut Fish and Wildlife recently posted this video of a deer crossing the Connecticut River between Old Saybrook and Old Lyme. The video was shared with the agency from Jesse Roche. The video shows the deer swimming strongly against the river with its head above the water. Officials say this is more common than you might think. Pretty cool there, didn't know that. But we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Still a busy day for the HAN network, of course. We have CT Pulse coming up at 12:30. Myself and Josh Fisher are going to talk about some local campaign commercials and a lot more about the upcoming election, so be sure to check that out. And of course, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. But we're going to wrap things up here. We will see you tomorrow at 11 for your coffee break.